Okay, class, we're starting on section 4.1, Introduction to Decimals. Now, I took the liberty of filling in all of these spots here. Now, we have our ones. We're going to go in front of the decimal. Our ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, hundred thousands, millions, and 10 millions. Now, behind the decimal, if you notice, the first place behind the decimal is not a ones place. It's a tenths place. And all of the place values behind the decimal starts with the tens and so on, but they all end with THS. If you see that here, it ends in THS. So just like in front of the decimal, you got tens, hundred thousands, you got tenths, hundredths, thousands, hundred thousands, and so on. So let's go down here. So, well, let me write a number out first. Let's say we had 575, 575,293. Okay, now this will be pronounced as 575 and 293 thousandths. Now, whenever you have a decimal answer, your answer always ends with the place value of the last digit behind the decimal. So this is 575. The word "and" denotes a decimal. 293 thousandths, indicating the last place value this number is behind the decimal. Now, we go here. Decimal point placement is important. We have shade 0.5. Now, we know 0.5 is half. That means 1/2. So we go here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have a total of 10. So we're going to take 5 of these, because remember, that's half. We're going to shade in 5. Now, of course, they're supposed to be completely shaded, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to leave it like this here. You just shade in 5. Now you have shade 0.50. 0.5 and 0.50 is the same thing, but we have 100 boxes here. So we still would shade in just 50. It's actually any 50, but I'm just going to make it easy by shading these 50 here. So that's number 2. Now we go here to number 3. Now we have 0.02. This 2 is in a hundredths place. Now that means that since we have 100 boxes here, that means that 2 out of this 100 we need to shade in. So you could pick any 2. I could pick 1 here. I could pick 1 here. As long as we shade in 2 boxes out of this 100, we satisfied the 0.02. Now let's go back to number 1 and 2. Now 0.5, this was 5 tenths. We have 10 of these and we shaded in 5 like we did. This is 50 hundredths, which we shaded in 50 out of 100. Now we come here to number 4. This is 46 hundredths. Now we know we have 100 boxes here, so we need to shade in 46. So we could do it a little different this time. Okay, so far there's 20 boxes. This would be 30 in our 40. Now we have to do 6 more. So it doesn't matter where the other 6 come from. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we know this is supposed to be all the way shaded in, but this is 40 boxes and our 6. So there's 46 out of 100. Now, we scroll down here. It says writing or reading a decimal in words. Write the whole number part in words. Write "and" for the decimal point. Write the decimal part in words as though it were a whole number, followed by the place value of the last digit. Okay, let's take a look here. Now, one thing that the directions didn't say is if your lead number before the decimal is 0. If your lead number is 0 here in front of the decimal, it's nothing else but 0, you do not write what this number value is here. You go straight behind the decimal. So our answer here would be 4. And then this 4 is in the hundredths place, so it'll be a 4/100ths. Now, this right here, we have -65 and 39/100ths. So we will write -65 and 39/100ths. And that is the final answer. Now we come here. We have 105. We can write that 105. Now for our decimal, we write and. And behind our decimal, you notice that with this 062, you know that this is just 62. So we'll write 62. And then we look at the digit where the place value that the 2 is at, and that is in thousandths place. So it's 105 and 62 thousandths. Now, let's take a look at number 4. We have 0 in front of the decimal, so we don't write anything before the decimal or the word and. We just write 519 and then we write the place value. This is tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. 10,000s. So 519 10,000s. Okay, now it says fill in the check to CLECO, Central Louisiana Electric Company, to pay for your monthly electric bill of $217.29. So, the first thing we would do is write the date. I'm going to use today's date, which is the 15th. And we know the year is 2013. Now it says pay to the order of. Now when you write a check, you can write the initials of the company. So we can write CLECO. Now to prove that, AT&T, that's not AT&T's full name. That's an abbreviation because AT&T stands for American Telephone and Telegraph. But most people will write AT&T. So we could write CLECO. We'll write our 217.29. And then here we will write 217. And then we could write the 29 over 100. And then the memo, we could say electric bill. And then sign your name however you signed it. I'll just put something there. That's a signature for you. Okay, now we scroll down to write in decimals in standard form. A decimal written in words can be written in standard form by reversing the procedure. 48 and 26/100ths is, you have 48 and is your decimal. Now we look here, we want 26/100ths. So we know that 6 has to be in the hundredths place, so that 2 must be in the tenths place. Now we have 6 and 95 thousandths. So we know 6 goes in front of the decimal. The word and becomes our decimal. 95 thousandths. Now we know the 5 must go in the thousands place. So we know the 9 goes in the hundredths place. And then finally this 0 will have to go in the tenths place. So let's look at example set B. It says write each decimal in standard form. 300, we'll write 300. The word and is our decimal. 96/100ths. So we know 6 will go in the hundredths place, and we know the 9 will go in the tenths place. And we're done with number 1. Number 2, 39 and means decimal. 42 thousandths. So we know the 2 will go in the thousands place. The 4 will go in the hundreds place. And so we have to place a number in the tenths place, which would be 0. So this is 39 and 42 thousandths. Now it says helpful hint. When converting a decimal from words to decimal notation, make sure the last digit is in the correct place by inserting zeros if necessary. For example, 2 and 38 thousandths is 2 point, because 2 is the 2 and is the decimal, and 38 thousandths, the 8 must be in the thousandths place, so you know the 3 is in the hundredths place and the 0 will have to be in the tenths place. Now for section C, it says write in decimals as fractions. I took the liberty of typing in what the word meanings mean here. So we have 0.3 as a decimal. The words is 3/10. So we'll write it like it sounds, 3/10. So that's 3/10. Now you see this is skipping a little bit, so I'm going to have to correct that. Okay, it says 34 hundredths. So it'd be 0. Well, let me write it over here. This would be 0.34. Okay, this isn't showing up too good. Okay, now it says here 34 hundredths. So we'll put 34. Oh. Okay, class, I'm going to rewrite this. Okay, I pulled up a couple Microsoft Word screens so we could do this. Okay, on the decimal side, 34 hundredths will be written as a decimal as 0.34. So this 0.34 goes here. Now on the fraction side, 34 hundredths will be written as 34 over 100. I have to correct something here real quick. This would be 34 over 100. Okay, that would take care of this here. Now we come down here to 7 thousandths. Okay, so now 7 thousandths, we already had a fraction, but we need to write the decimal. It'll be 0.007. Because remember that 7 has to be in the thousandths place. Now we go down here to 0.25, which is 25 hundredths. And we will write that as 25 over 100. So you need to fill that in here. It says example set C. We have to write each decimal as a mixed number or a fraction in simplest form. So what we would do is this here. We have 0.12. We know that's 12 over 100. For some reason, it's not showing. I took the liberty of filling out example set C. It says write each decimal as a mixed number or fraction in simplest form. We have 0.12, which means 12 over 100. And we take the prime factorization of 12, which is 2 times 2 times 3, and the prime factorization of 100, which is 2 times 2 times 5 times 5. So what end up happening here is we simplify out the two sets of 2's, and we're left with 3 over 25. Now we go to 64.8. 64, all of your digits in front of the decimal will be your whole number. And we know 8 is 8/10. So we will break down 8/10 to its prime factorization, which is 2 times 2 times 2, and 10 is 2 times 5. These 2's will simplify out. Again, these 2's will simplify out, and you will be left with 4/5. Okay, now we move on over to number 3 here. We have negative 310, which is in front of the decimal. So this will be your lead number here, and your fraction will be 75 over 100. Now we take the prime factorization of 75, which is 3 times 5 times 5, and the prime factorization of 100, which is 2 times 2 times 5 times 5. These 5 simplify out, and we're left with a negative 310 over 3, well, negative 310 and 3/4. Now in example set D, it says write each fraction as a decimal. We have 58 over 100. That means that this last digit must be in the hundredths place. So that would be 0.58. We have 59 over 100, negative 59 over 100. That means that this 9 must be in the hundredths place, so it'll be a negative 0.59. Then number 3, we have 6 over 1,000. That 6 must be in the thousandths place, so it's 0.06. And finally, number 4, 172 over 10. Now, we know that this 2 will have to be in the tenths place, because we can divide it out and it'll give us 17.2. And just to show you how we get to 17.2, I did the division here. 10 goes into 17 once, Then 10 goes into 17 7 times. I mean 72 7 times. And 10 goes into 20 twice.